Hello, my name is Bianca Noir. This is a crisis update. It's been a little bit of time since I've given a crisis update, and as you may know, I think it was the week before last week, I ended up off my meds for quite some time, a couple of days. I was experiencing anxiety attack symptoms per usual. And what I discovered is that I just really can't be without this medication, which is buspirone. I've been on it for years, and I didn't realize it was the one that was really helping me to cope. But the thing is that all of the things that I'm going through are very real. So all it's doing is helping me to cope with things that are completely out of control that I can't do anything about, and things that, shouldn't be happening to me. Things that should have never happened. It helps me cope with my trauma. It's not a solution. Well, as you can see, I've been posting videos. I'm still in this space. I'm in this apartment. I haven't heard anything more since the last crisis update, and the police have not come for me. So everybody has probably their judgments, their concerns, their confusion. I'm totally in the dark right now. Totally in the dark. I'm going to run out of money very soon, and I performed on the street as a busker last week, and I only made $7. That doesn't mean that I'm not amazing, and that doesn't mean that I am not a brilliant artist. It means that people are blown away. Usually in this kind of situation, I would think that it's because I've declined. I'm not doing well. I'm not looking or sounding good, but I've only become more experienced. So what I would think is that people are too intimidated to approach me to even put money in or to ask how they can help me. And also, they know this whole situation is being investigated. I mean, I'm hot. It's too hot to handle. It's a hot potato. These are some of the things that I hear in my head. It's funny, I have a spiritual gift, and some people don't really understand it. Tabitha Brown was talking about her spiritual gift, but she has a connection to a higher power. I'm atheist, so my spiritual gift doesn't really make any sense to me, and I think about my spiritual gift as a science. I think of it more as a science that is unexplained. And some people might call this where the delusional disorder comes in. And Tabitha Brown was talking about how, people just think you're crazy, but you have to kind of accept that. And you don't really have to accept that. I don't accept that people think that I'm crazy. I'm going to fight that. I'm going to say, hey, this just isn't, this, I've validated a lot of my spiritual, messages with scientific proof and evidence. I mean, a lot of my premonitions and things, a lot of the things that, these swooping thoughts and ideas, these things that just, it's like a cloud of sort of details and information and thoughts and ideas and things that sort of just, it's almost like an ongoing radio of thoughts and feelings and things and visions, and it's within me. I know it's not outside of me, but it's really hard to believe sometimes that it's just you. And so some people think it's God, some people think it's aliens, and so they describe it as such. I think it might be really the thoughts and ideas, the collective consciousness, and I might be the one that's adding it all up. But in the end, was the gift even important if you died tomorrow? If it came to the fact that you had a gift, no one knew about it, and you only reached a certain point and then you passed away with nobody knowing it and nobody validating it. Okay? It's a certain level, what they would say, of spiritual enlightenment. And I've spent a lot of time in here alone because nobody comes here and nobody contacts me and nobody texts me. I'm not getting any messages. The only messages that I'm getting are from occasional services and resources. This is very seldom. Like my clinic contacts me every once in a while, and it's sort of frenetic. It's sort of spastic. How I get these sudden text messages and then a missed call and then a voicemail, which I have to tell you that I don't get my voicemails. Something's wrong with my phone. I can't access my voicemails. And anyway, something's wrong with my phone. So anyway, I get a message from my clinic. I get a message from Aetna, okay, who's my new medical insurance through Medicaid. And I get these messages from my clinic, and then I get this message from Aetna. And Aetna's like, it's time for a pap smear. I'm like, I just got with you guys again at Medicaid and Aetna. I mean, don't you think this is a little too soon to make a commitment? The thing is that the last time I had a pap smear, I was very suspicious of it, and I definitely turned it in. And I talked openly about it because, first of all, I didn't even really know the person. And a lot of times when women have to get invasive testing and things like that, they don't really know who they're dealing with. I don't really know who that was, but the entire process was so traumatizing that I never wanted to get that service again. That treatment, that service, the testing, I had come back with abnormal cells for a pap smear. And I was like, this can't be true. Because I had other pap smears where the cells were normal. So, and what's weird is that I'm not sexually active. As much as you might think as a sex trafficking victim that I'm sexually active, it's not actually penetration sex that I'm having with people. I'm actually declining any opportunity to do these things I just know that I'm being trafficked. So, I know that I actually, can get away with declining these things because I'm not physically chained to a wall. I mean, if I was physically chained to a wall and I couldn't escape the facility, that would be a whole nother thing. But I don't physically actually have to have the sex with people. And what it is that they're displeased, of course. But people can actually touch me. They can get away with touching me in public, which is something that has happened to me recently. But anyway, getting back to the pap smear, I had, and I forget what it was called. It was very complicated, and I learned the whole name of it. It's very complicated, but I was very suspicious of it. I know that a lot of women over the years, and we have it in the story of Anarcha. A lot of women over the years have avoided pap smears. They decline them. They complain about them, and I'm not the only one. So since I'm not sexually active, I mean, they act like that's no excuse, but when I go into the room with the nurses and things, this is not a turn on. So everything is really tight and constricted. I had faced a lot of sexual trauma. I was going through sexual trauma. I was very, very anxious for a long time and undiagnosed with certain things. And I wasn't comfortable with my setting. I was very, very disoriented when I had the pap smear the last time. And they were having a hard time getting the speculum in. They had to use a speculum for like a child. As I said, I have to really be attracted to the person, or, I mean, It's going to be hard to get things in there. It's going to be hard. I mean, it's going to hurt. I'm going to scream. There's not going to be any fluids. I have to be attracted to the person. I was not attracted to my nurse practitioner who was doing the pap smear. I was not. I was dry, and I was typically dry because when I'm not physically interacting with somebody that I'm attracted to, I really go back into ACE mode, and I have, like right now, you'll see, maybe I seem very, open, and I seem, kind of, what I say this, flirty, or I mean, that's a lot of my grooming and things like that. Some people see me and they just think I'm in the mood, but actually I'm asexual. And the thing is that if I'm not physically interacting with a partner that I'm attracted to, somebody that I am attracted to, being in close proximity, smelling them, their pheromones, feeling them, and I feel safe, I feel nothing. And actually, I'm not getting aroused right now. I'm not getting aroused, and you would think that some of the stuff that I'm watching would be turning me on. And I'm sorry to say, if you are hoping for that, it's not. I'm actually very, very cerebral, very intellectual about everything that I'm watching. Even if I'm watching pole dancing and the person is pretty much in the nude, I see it as art. If I'm watching a girl doing floor work and she's clearly a stripper, but she's professional, and it's very sexy, naughty, flirtatious, it's not really turning me on. I'm artistically evaluating it, and that's where my brain goes. It's like it's almost like looking at it's almost like looking at I don't know, like something that is just not sexual. It's like looking at a painting or something to me, that is just not. It's just not. I don't see people and sexually objectify them automatically. I have to be with them to sexually objectify them. I have to be really close with them and feel them and smell them and everything else. And I have to be attracted to them, which is one of the reasons why my trafficking doesn't work. Anyway, getting down to the thing with the pap smear, which I have been declining ever since, even though I had the irregular cells the one time, was that they couldn't get the speculum in. They had to get a smaller speculum. Then, once they were in there, it's really traumatizing, I'm not even sure that I wasn't sexually assaulted. And I hate to say this, because I don't want to point fingers at a feminist gynecologist or a nurse practitioner who is just doing their job and that's how it's done. But this felt like a total assault on my body. They had told me to take ibuprofen and that there was going to be some pain and there wasn't going to be any sort of anesthesia that could help with it. And what it is they took, to get the irregular cells, they had to go inside of me without surgery. So it's like a spoolie. And they had to go up into my cervix with the spoolie, with this tiny spoolie, right? And then they went all the way up. And it's like, they're like, little pinch, pinch. You're going to feel a pinch, up, up. And I'm like screaming at one point. And I don't really scream in pain. When I get to, I have a full arm sleeve right here. This was pretty painful. This was intense. Like this right here, this tattoo was intense. This was intense. I wouldn't call it painful. It's just intense, Intense. It's intense, a little bit of suffering, but I can handle it. This thing, though, this was cruel and unusual. And it was just, I screamed sort of a blood-curdling cry for this to be over. I was in shock afterwards because they had to keep going with the tool up until they got through my cervix, and then they came out with that spoolie. Then they told me, nothing goes in there for 2 weeks. No one goes in there. Nothing goes in there. You don't go in there. Do not touch yourself. Do not put soap in there. Do not do nothing with your vagina for 2 weeks, which is healing time. And that I would probably be bleeding. And I'm like, I didn't know this was going to happen, but I'm not interested in having this kind of pap smear. I know for a fact, because I followed up, because I'm very interested in women's health, that I am not going to be interested in any of these older procedures. As far as pap smears are concerned, I know there's another system. I know there's another test. And if they don't have that other test, if it's expensive, it doesn't seem like it would be expensive. If they don't have that other test, I'm not doing this. Because right now, somebody wants pap smear results, please. They are looking for a description of my vagina. They want to know, yet again, do I have a penis? Because I don't. I have a vagina. It's healthy. It's clean. It looks good. It's a rose. Get over it. You're not going to see it. End of story. You're not going to see it because I actually have to be attracted to you, and then you're lucky enough for me to see it. There's plenty of other people you could look at their vagina. There's tons of vaginas out there. You could look at an AI vagina. But people want to look specifically at mine because they're curious about mine. They want to hear about it. They want to know it. And the thing is, they're not going to. They're not going to. And I don't have a penis. Sorry if you wanted me to be unisex, or intersex, excuse me. If you wanted me to be intersex, or you wanted me to, with both parts, you wanted me to have a penis instead of a vagina. You thought that I had transitional surgery. Sorry. That's all very freaky that you would project that on me. But let it be known that I was born presenting as female, and I have a vagina, and that's all you need to know. Okay? I was also born a little bit androgynous. So, in the end, I'm here in this apartment. I am being traced when I leave the apartment. I am in the process of filing for unemployment, and I have to apply for jobs. When I apply for jobs, I'm not seeing things that I need to, the types of jobs that I would typically apply for. And I can't apply for the kinds of jobs I applied for in the past. They're too low paying. They're too exploitative. I have to actually apply for something that I'm actually qualified. I'm really, really what I'm qualified to do. And I have to stop hiding my experience level. And some of the jobs are behind paywalls. So like Backdoor, I found out it costs money to even look at Backdoor. Backstage. Backstage. It's a paywall. So in order to apply for Backstage jobs, there's a paywall. You have to pay a monthly fee, which, if you know anything about the arts, you shouldn't have to pay for anything. But yet, everything, pay the toll. Everything is gate kept. Everything, there's a toll, So, I have to apply for 2 jobs each week. And then I might be able to get unemployment if I'm approved. And that can help me pay my bills. I need to pay my credit card bills. I mean, still I'm in here and I'm facing eviction, or whatever. There's a process going on here. But let it be known that I'm totally in the dark here. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I'm running out of money fast. This doesn't mean I'm free. This doesn't mean I'm not trafficked anymore because I'm not, this and this didn't happen or whatever. I'm in here and I'm still being trafficked, and there's still an expectation for me to perform, especially, they're displeased because I'm not doing the pornography. They're displeased because I'm not going out looking for Johns and coercively being, the prostitute that people want me to be. because I know that's how I've been groomed, and I know that's what people expect. And so when I go, like I've gone out, like I went out a couple of days ago, and I already see a pattern of people approaching me, random strangers approaching me when I'm in the store or whatever, and there's patterns of that I'm finding, clues that they're traffickers, clues that they're involved in trafficking, clues that they found out that I was where I was and that I'm being tracked still, and that those people are either racist, they're approaching me maybe because my skin is light, they're approaching me because they know that I am low on money, that I'm on SNAP or whatever, and that I could do a little bit of under the table labor for them, and then probably that I could be, sexually exploited as well. So I'm being approached by these people. Other people, are not really paying any mind to me. It's the people who physically approach me, and they touch me. They touch me. They reach out and try to touch me. They try to touch my hand, grab my arm, things like this. And what it is people let that slide. People let that slide all the time. Like when oh, haha, and they grab your arm. Or, they get real close to your face when they're talking to you. Or they whisper in your ear. Or they touch your hand, grab your hand, and things like this. Elderly people do this a lot. They'll put their hand on yours or whatever. And people let that slide. And I just want to tell you, it may not be as innocent as you think, because it's always people who are already suspicious who touch me without consent. So I just want to let you know that all the touching and things like this, we need to start raising awareness about consent, because it's not legal to touch anyone without consent. I don't know why people, will, grab your shoulder or rub you from behind. That's, I get touched a lot consent-wise because I'm a dancer. So in dance, there's a lot of correction. Physical correction helps the body learn, But they have to ask consent. And if you have an ongoing arrangement with that person, you've given them consent, and they only touch you in order to offer you appropriate corrections that help you with your dance. They're not touching you sexually. Anything like that would be leaving the professional environment and going elsewhere. And then that's a different type of consent. You still need to ask that person, can I kiss you? Can I hold your hand? And that's the thing. There's a lot of this touch and stuff. And what I've tried to say is see, if you can't actually explain it to ask consent, you shouldn't be doing it, right? So if I walk up to you, for instance, and I say, oh, hi, and I go to touch your shoulder, how are you? Okay, so first of all, that's an assault. That's actually could be considered an assault depending on who it is. Most people just let that shit slide. But if you grab their arm, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long, and they grab and they bruise. You know what I'm saying? They'll bruise you. If they reach out and they are going to grab your arm, and so it should sound like this: hi, can I grab your arm for just a moment and squeeze? How are you doing? See, that should be, and you should actually have to consent to that. And so it's like, hi, how are you doing? Let me squeeze your arm for just a second. Is that okay? And you should be waiting. No, that's not okay. I don't want you to squeeze my arm. Oh, okay. How are you? See, that's how it more should go. Okay, the squeezing, the touching, the stroking, and there's a whole bunch of other things that have to do with tone. There's things about, there's distance things. There's things about vulgarity. There's things about word choice. All of those things are case by case, and you need to understand that, you have to have consent to be able to talk to people like that. That's one reason why I am rather quiet until I get to know someone. And why, for instance, the last couple of times when I had feelings for somebody, I expressed them, I never touched them. I never once touched them. And they were born, pretty sure I didn't see it, but they were born presenting as male. When I approach someone now, I'm very careful as to not touch that person, and it might confuse them, because if I have feelings for them, why don't I lean in more? Why don't I just touch them, give them a hug, flirt with them and things like this? Because we haven't established those boundaries. And so what it is I'm not getting very far with people having boundaries and expecting other people to have boundaries and expecting consent and giving and things like this, because they're used to people being all over them without consent, and they don't even know what consent is. And it's because some of these people that I am dealing with, we're all in this sort of trafficking situation together, and it's over their head, because I've been through this before and I know what it is. They don't know what it is, because they've been probably touched all their life and never thought twice about it. I mean, they might even like it. I didn't like it. Freaks me out. And when I ask them, sometimes when I ask them, they'll say, oh no, I don't really like to be touched, especially by strangers, especially by someone I'm not attracted to, especially by like a superior. I don't like to be touched by, a random person. I don't like that. But yet they don't take a stand. They don't demand consent. They don't create boundaries. And they expect me still to touch them. And we haven't even discussed consent. And we're not even texting or anything like that. For me to touch someone, that would be like home base. Like, I would have already gone all the bases around, and then we get there and it's like, okay, we talked about all the things, and then here we're at home base. Okay, we know where we stand. All right, do I have consent to give you a hug? Can I give you a hug? Do you mind if I give you a kiss on the cheek? See what I'm saying? If you're not comfortable saying it out loud, it doesn't make any sense why you would even do it. Because people who are very sexually experienced and no consent, they will say it out loud. They'll whisper in your ear, do you want me to smack you on your ass? And you can say yes or no. I mean, if that's the kind of, sex you're having at the moment. But what I'm trying to get to you is people do not have consent. We're not born consenting to any of this. And I just want people to know that I have a problem with people touching me. I have a problem with a lot of what people do. And they're crossing the line and crossing my boundaries, and it never ends. And it's because I'm a traffic person. It's because I'm a traffic person who's taken a stand, and it's not over with. And some of these people that I see that are talking about trafficking right now, okay, it's been publicized for them, but is it really over with? Is it? Is it really over with? Because I see models who talk about trafficking. I'm seeing dancers. I'm seeing, the Jeffrey Epstein survivors come forward. And some of them don't want to talk about it, and some of them don't want their information out there, and some of them do want publicity. And I'm trying to spread awareness about my situation, because I'm just going to fall right through the cracks if I don't. So there's a lot of different things going on, but like, my trafficking is ongoing and still has never ended. The resources that I've contacted, the police, they've never come for me to collect me because I'm a trafficking victim, because I'm here in an apartment. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm here in this apartment and it's fine. It's fine. She's fine. She's at home. I was at home when I was a little baby, and I was being groomed, and I was being trafficked, and I was being used for sex. And a toddler, and a teenager, and everything else. I mean, they say a lot of it happens in trafficking, and it's people you know. It's people you trust. People you think you can trust. Well, it's happening in your house. It's happening on the phone. It's happening online. It's happening with your phone when you're, on, paywalled sites or in social media. And that's what some people don't get. It's not just being locked up somewhere. The prison is symbolic. The prison is mathematical. The prison The chains are metaphorical.